Let me show you how to make a Vidalia onion soubise. What is a soubise? It's a take on the classic French mother sauce, a bechamel. And y'all have seen a bechamel in mac and cheese, right? Well, today, all we're gonna do is a simple take on a classic bechamel, and we're gonna include more onions. It's really easy and it's sure to impress your guests. We're gonna start by slicing our onions really thin. The smell of onions just makes me so excited, and I think it has to do growing up with my dad, and we would always make onion soup together. So this sauce is one of my favorite sauces to go to. Plus, whenever I make it, everybody's like, oh my gosh, what's the recipe? So y'all, here's the recipe. It's super easy, and you're gonna be a whiz in your kitchen after this. And what I love about a soubise is it's a great vessel for spices. You can add curry, you can add sumac, which I'm gonna do later on. You can add white pepper and have a peppered sauce. You can do so many takes on this sauce for any type of dish that you're doing. So this is a very versatile sauce. So now I'm just gonna slice my onions really thin, all at an even consistency, at about a quarter to an eighth of an inch. When you get to the end, just slice the same width. We're gonna go in, slice these onions. I think slicing onions also reminds me of culinary school back in the day when I used to cut so many onions and I would be crying all the time, and it wasn't because of my chef instructor, it was because of all the dang onions I had to cut. I also had to cook a lot of onions. But anyways, so onions and I have had a love-hate relationship, but boy do I love them because they taste so good. So now we've almost got all of our onions sliced. Then I'm gonna heat up my pan to about medium-high heat. Perfect. I'm gonna add about 4 to 5 tablespoons of butter, but really as much butter as you like, because you can never have enough butter, right? Love some butter. Then we're going to add our onions into the butter. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. That's the sound of making your house smell really good, right? Makes you think of Thanksgiving and stuff. Okay, now it's really important to season your onions with salt and pepper while you're cooking them. Salt will help draw out all the moisture in your onions, and the lack of moisture will help the caramelization and get them nice and brown, which is what we want. And what does caramelization mean in cooking? It means flavor. So we definitely want our onions to have flavor because they are the star of our sauce. So now we're gonna add a little pepper to our onions as well. Now we're gonna let this sit, and we're gonna stir every once in a while so nothing burns at the bottom of the pan. We're gonna mingle the butter in there, and we're gonna saute these until they're nice and I'd say golden brown, and there's no more moisture in them. So our onions have been cooking for about 15-20 minutes, and look how much they've reduced. They've gotten nice and golden brown, and if you thought 2 onions was going to be a lot, look what it turns into. So they smell amazing. I mean, is there anything better than butter and onions together? I don't think so. You don't have to even answer that because I just did for you. Now, to make our sauce complete, we are going to add heavy whipping cream. We have a little Maillard reactions going on in the pan, which is the browning of sugars, and that is intense flavor. So when I basically deglaze with my heavy whipping cream, all the goodness that was stuck to the pan is now gonna be in this sauce, and that is what's gonna give our sauce tremendous flavor. So never wash those off your pan, always scrape them off. We're gonna pour in our heavy cream, and now I'm gonna go in and gently scrape the bottom of our pan to get all those bits released into our sauce. And then I'm gonna bring this back up to a simmer. We don't have to cook the cream and onions very long, maybe for about 3 to 4 minutes. And then our sauce will be essentially done. But to make it nice and smooth and creamy and have a really velvety texture, we're going to puree it with a hand blender. So as soon as this has a chance to heat up and mingle together, we're gonna blend it into a beautiful, buttery, creamy onion sauce. Okay, our sauce is finished. It's come up to a simmer, which is exactly what we want. I'm gonna turn off the heat, use a hand towel for my pan. I'm gonna dump everything into a bowl. Now I'm using a hand mixer instead of a blender because I'm going to blend my sauce while it's hot. And if y'all wanna laugh, just puree your hot sauce in a blender and see what happens. But I'm gonna tell you what happens. It's gonna explode on you and you're gonna have sauce everywhere. So y'all, when you're blending something hot, just use a hand mixer and save yourself, which is what I'm gonna do today. So we're gonna pulse our sauce because we don't want it to go flying. And I'm gonna pulse it until I get the texture that I want, which is creamy. I want tiny little chunks of onion, but not too much. And voila! You have yourself a beautiful Vidalia onion soubise.